I'm doing my very first collaboration. What's up guys, Yogi here. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel. This channel is about hiking and backpacking, but what it's really about is encouraging you to live your life on purpose. So hit that subscribe button and let's do this thing together. Also, make sure you hit the bell, that way you know every time I upload a new video. If you get something out of this video, please hit that like button and comment below and let me know what your favorite part was. I'm super excited because today I'm doing my very first collaboration. Dan Becker, Backcountry Exposure, Backcountry Forward, Amy ROUTT, a bunch of awesome YouTube channels that I love to watch are doing a collaboration today about cold weather backpacking. Now, I'm gonna link everybody's channel below. There's like 13 or 14 of us, I can't even remember how many are doing this, but please do me a favor and go and check out those other channels and give them some love. Like them, subscribe them. I'm subscribed to all of them, and they're phenomenal people and awesome, awesome channels. I got 3 tips for you today. I'm a brand new backpacker, so I don't have a ton of experience sleeping outside in the cold, but in my few months of backpacking, I have learned a couple different things that help you keep warm. The first thing is you have to have a sleeping pad, and it's gotta be insulated. You want something with an R value of 3.5 or higher, preferably 5. If it's super, super cold, you might even want to take an extra closed cell foam mat and put that under your sleeping pad. The sleeping pad that I have is this one right here. This is the Klymit Static V Luxe. This thing is huge. One of the best parts about it is it's 3 inches thick and it has insulation inside it. So I believe the R value on this one is 3.4. Can't remember for sure, but let's go ahead and get it blown up so you guys can see it. All right, so here it is blown up. And like I said, this thing is huge. It's 30 inches wide. It's 3 inches thick. It's got this really cool V-shaped pattern. I don't know if that really helps. The idea is that it's supposed to help protect your spine and give you more comfort, more support right down the middle where your spine is. It's also supposed to, these things here are supposed to be a railing to keep you from rolling off. It doesn't help at all, but the thing is huge. I can sleep on this this thing is huge. I don't ever have any problem rolling off of it because if I roll over, I'm still on the thing. In fact, that's one of my biggest complaints about it is it's just way too wide. My next sleeping pad that I get probably won't be insulated. I'll use this for winter backpacking, and then I'll get a regular pad that's not insulated, and it will be more narrow, probably 25 inches, I think. So, but anyway, you can see here, this has 3 inches, which gets you off the ground. I can sleep on this on my side and my hips don't dig in. If you're touching the ground while you're sleeping, it's gonna pull all your heat away from you. And it doesn't matter if you have a sleeping bag or a quilt or whatever. If you're touching the ground, if you're in a sleeping bag, your back's gonna be compressing that sleeping bag. And what keeps you warm is the air that your sleeping bag traps. If it's compressed down against the ground, you're not getting any insulation value from that. That's why a lot of backpackers like using quilts, because you're not getting any insulation from the back anyway. Saves you a little bit of weight. That's a whole nother video, the whole quilt versus sleeping bag discussion. But you're not getting any insulation if it's smashed down. So what this does is it insulates you from the ground, which will pull all your heat away. So that's the first thing. You gotta make sure you get a good sleeping pad. If it's super cold outside, you might even wanna get an extra closed cell foam pad to put underneath your insulated sleeping pad, just to give you that extra degree of warmth. So the sleeping pad was the first thing. The second and third thing are both types of clothing, and really material, the type of material you're using. First one I wanna talk about is wool. I did not realize that wool is such an awesome, awesome material. It has tons of awesome qualities. Number one, it's antimicrobial, which means that you can wear this stuff and sweat in it and it doesn't stink because it doesn't harbor bacteria. The other thing that it does is I don't understand how this works. I'm not a scientist. I don't understand how it can do this, but it keeps you warm and it keeps you cool. So these are an extra thick pair of wool socks. These would be great for winter backpacking. You might even want to double up, and these would be good on the outside, for the outside layer. Those are from Wool X, but you can get them from Smart Wool, Darn Tough, it doesn't matter. As long as it's a high percentage of wool. You wouldn't want 100% wool socks because it wouldn't have the elastic properties to hug your feet. Now, wool does have its own elastic properties. It will stretch a little bit, and that's another cool thing about it. I have a buff that's 100% wool, and I absolutely love that thing. Brand new backpacker tip right here. I got a cheap $4 buff that is synthetic. and it's fine. I mean, it helps keep my hair out of my eyes and whatever else, but I also got 100% wool buff, and I was like, I couldn't understand why the brand name buffs or whatever were so much more expensive, but really what it was the 100% wool buffs are more expensive, and they're worth every penny. They're stretchable. There's so many different things that you can do with that. You can pull it over and have it on your neck for a neck warmer, like a neck gaiter. You can wear it like a balaclava. You can wear it as a beanie. You can do all sorts of different stuff. They make thicker ones too. So brand new backpacker tip, get yourself a 100% wool buff, and you will not have wasted one penny buying that thing. I love mine. You're gonna love yours too. But back to wool, it is just so awesome how this stuff works. It keeps you cool in the summer because the way your body regulates temperature is when you sweat. The whole reason you sweat is when the air evaporates the sweat off of you, it cools you down. It has a cooling effect. And what wool does is it will pull the moisture away from your body. Now that's great in the summer to help keep you dry. It's also great in the winter because if you sweat too much and your clothes get wet, they're gonna freeze. So this will help you a little bit. Now you still gotta make sure that you're not getting too hot and getting super sweaty, but as you're walking along and as you're going, that's gonna pull that moisture away from your body, which is gonna help with not having too much sweat and not having it freeze and becoming a huge issue. So wool is the first thing. Make sure you got some good wool socks. Make sure you get a wool base layer, a long sleeve wool base layer, and maybe even an insulating layer. You can get super thick wool insulating layers that are like wool sweaters. That will help definitely keep you warm, and it will also help with moisture issues. Now, I know a lot of people think that wool is super scratchy and not fun to wear and all that, and that can be true. What you want to get is merino wool. Merino wool is sheared from the merino sheep, and for some reason they have finer fibers, and they're not itchy and scratchy like other types of wool. They're super soft too. And the one thing you definitely don't want to do when backpacking is wear cotton. If cotton gets wet, it loses all its insulation abilities, and it's not as strong as wool. It doesn't breathe as good as wool. It won't keep you warm, especially if it gets wet. And it's gonna get wet just from you sweating. And cotton does not release that water like wool does. For some reason, wool it pulls it away from you and lets it go out in the atmosphere. I don't know about you, but when I wear a cotton shirt and it gets soaking wet from sweat, it'll be wet 2 days later. It just like seems like it does not dry. And wool seems to dry out a lot more. And I think that's because it has natural oils in it that kind of help repel the water. But anyway, get yourself some nice wool. This is an investment definitely worth making. There's lots of expensive things in backpacking, and wool is one of the things that you don't have to spend a ton of money on it, but it's going to be a lot more than cotton, but it's worth every penny. So get yourself some good wool clothing, and that will definitely help keep you warm. The second thing I want to talk to you about real quick is down. Now, this is the second material that I've found that I'm just absolutely in love with, and it's expensive. This was a dirt cheap down jacket. It's Rocca and Rolla. It's just a Chinese brand or whatever. I have some swimming trunks from them too. I wore them in Bali, and they're awesome. So I may have a new favorite cheap clothing company. But anyway, this was super cheap, $85. That's cheap for a down jacket, but it's worth every penny. This thing weighs 11 ounces. It's crazy to me that this thing weighs 11 ounces because I have this, and this is just a cheap, heavy jacket. It's Free Country. I don't know, I got it at Sam's. I love this jacket. It is super, super warm. It's basically got a fleece liner. It's almost like two jackets all in one. It's got a nice hood, but this thing weighs like 5 pounds. And this one will keep me almost as warm as this one does. And it weighs 11 ounces. So the other cool thing about down is that it's super compressible. So I can actually take this jacket, and it comes with its own stuff sack, but you can also just do this too. And I'll speed this up. And you can break it down into a tiny little thing. I mean, it's so packable. Some of them even have it to where you can zip them shut. I mean, this one you could kind of zip shut. You have to kind of finagle it a little bit. But, I mean, look at this. It's probably 8 inches long, maybe 4 inches wide. Try doing that with this thing. Like, I mean, it's not even funny. Like, it's not going to happen. These both give me about the same comfort. So, down is an awesome, awesome material that I have come to love just in the last few months. Now, like I said, it's not cheap, but it's worth every penny. And you can get some budget some budget down items. Like I said, this jacket I'm super happy with. Now, I've never had like a Ghost Whisperer or, you know, the super high-end down jackets, so I don't really have anything to compare it to other than non-down type stuff. But for an entry-level item, you know, around $100, you can get you a nice little puffy jacket. I love this thing. It gets so hot that unless it's cold outside, if it's just chilly, like 40 degrees, I can't wear this because I get way too hot in it, as thin as it is. But if it's cold at all, this thing's phenomenal. Absolutely love it. This is the Nature Hike Outdoors 800 fill power goose down sleeping bag. Now, this thing's super versatile. You can actually use it as a quilt. It's got a zipper. I'll do a full review on it another time. But the coolest thing about this is it's super lightweight and it keeps you super warm. This is a 40-degree sleeping bag, but that's the comfort range. The transition range is 32 degrees. That's Fahrenheit. Those are both Fahrenheit. So 6 degrees Celsius or 0 degrees Celsius. The risk, and I would never want this bag at this cold, but negative 10 degrees Celsius or 14 degrees Fahrenheit. But I would be totally fine taking this if it was above freezing at all. And if it was close to freezing and I was worried about it, I would just take maybe an extra layer or two. But down is amazing. I can't believe how amazing this stuff is. And it's also worth every penny. But you can get some budget items like this. You know, a lot of down quilts are going to be $300 or more. Down sleeping bags, same thing. This was 111 bucks. I like it a lot. It weighs just over 2 pounds. So this is a synthetic bag, and this thing weighs almost 4 pounds. It's a dirt cheap item. I think it was like 30 bucks at Walmart. I don't know. But it's a warm weather bag. They call it a warm weather bag. It's good down to 50 degrees. And it's so heavy. That Nature Hike bag weighs half what this does. So that's why down is considered such a better material. It's not warmer per se. If you had a 50-degree down bag and a 50-degree synthetic bag, they're both going to keep you warm down to 50 degrees, right? The difference is the weight. The down bag is going to get you to that temperature rating with a lot less weight, whereas the synthetic, it's just a lot heavier. Now they are making some advancements in synthetic materials and getting a lot of synthetic bags and quilts down in the lower weight ranges, but you're going to pay for that. And I think that down is just the way to go for now. Now there are some drawbacks to down. First off, if it gets wet, like cotton, it's not going to keep you warm at all. It's going to lose its loft, and you're not going to have any insulation from that again. Whereas with synthetic, it can get wet and still have some insulating properties. But I wouldn't want to be wet in a synthetic bag or a down bag because you're still going to be cold. If you're wet at all, you're going to be cold. But that's something to definitely keep in mind, that when you're backpacking, if you have down, you got to make sure you keep it dry. But if you can do that, if you can keep it dry, it's going to keep you warm with a lot less weight on your back. So those are my 3 tips. I got one more, number 4. Go watch those other videos. The other channels in this collaboration have years and years and years combined of backpacking experience. They all know a ton more than I do, and I'm sure they're going to have excellent tips. I can't wait to watch these videos myself. So make sure you follow those channels, subscribe to them, give them some love, tell them I sent you. If you got something out of this video, please hit that like button. Please subscribe, hit the bell notifications. That way you know when I upload new videos. And comment below. Let me know what your cold weather backpacking tip is. I'd love to hear it. And remember, life's a journey, not a destination. So get out there and live your life on purpose. We'll see you on the next one. Hey guys, I almost forgot. I did hit my 100 subscriber goal, so thank you so much for everybody that subscribed and anyone that shared that video with your friends. You still have time to enter. I'm doing the drawing Friday night, the Friday after Thanksgiving, so on Black Friday, I'm doing this drawing. You still have time to go to the backpack return video. I'll put a link in the card. You can make a comment there, and you'll be entered to win 10,000 milliamp hour battery pack. Thank you so much to everybody that subscribed and everybody that shared this video with your friends. I am just overwhelmed with all the love and support that I've been given through doing this YouTube channel. So thank you guys so much. We'll see you on the next one.